As Tim has just said, the New Zealand seafood industry does have an incredible story to tell, and it's quite a deep and diverse story, one that goes way beyond the fact that we have a world-leading quota management system, one where the people and the environment and products all feature. So we're happy to admit it's not a perfect story, but it is one that the world is asking to hear. And many of us know far too well how difficult it can be to find credible and reliable information about the seafood industry. Many of us have lost hours of our workday trying to find the real source of truth. Information has often been disparate and disconnected, out of date, and certainly not digital. But that's now changed. Over the past year, I've been working with the New Zealand seafood industry to find a way to empower their businesses with credible, current, useful information about the industry to enable them to ultimately enhance their brands and their products with the connection to the attributes that underpin the New Zealand seafood story. As a result, last month we officially launched Open Seas. It's the most current and comprehensive information source about New Zealand seafood. It's the largest transparency initiative ever undertaken by the industry, and is a product of over 20 subject matter experts, 5 regulatory agencies, independent fisheries scientists, third-party auditors, and countless hours of industry insights. Open Seas has been developed by the New Zealand seafood industry as a means for us to collectively demonstrate the social and environmental credentials of the industry. It's designed to assist the business-to-business dialogue, particularly to enable customers of New Zealand seafood to make informed choices in line with their own sourcing policies. Our openness is about being open source, providing open access, fully transparent, independent source of information about the industry. The program should empower the industry and provide confidence to customers, allowing those users to retain and reuse information within their own businesses. In order to do that, our information is in digestible, bite-sized pieces for both buyers and sellers, in a language and layout that's familiar, should be deduced easily, and leaves any determinations of acceptable levels of risk or responsibility with the users. It's not a claims-based scheme and does not purport to verify any individual product claims. However, our businesses can now use this information to support their own claims in marketing and communication. Our website sits at the heart of the program and is now your gateway to the most comprehensive set of facts and references underpinning the environmental, supply chain, and workforce credentials of our industry. Digital access to the information is absolutely essential, and so now is our ability to keep it current. Information on Open Seas is presented in 2 different ways, through various sections covering the systems behind our seafood production, through to individual species profiles. The sections provide an overview of the systems and requirements for various aspects of seafood production, from fisheries management and conservation through to the labor and food safety systems. The content of these pages has been generated through third-party reports by subject matter experts and reviewed by the relevant regulatory agencies and are fully referenced. The species profiles provide an overview of the fishery and an independent assessment of environmental performance. For the fisheries that are MSC certified, all of the certification information is there presented and downloadable. For non-MSC certified fisheries, we've utilized a new environmental risk assessment framework. Environmental risks for these assessments are presented for 3 components, which are the target species, bycatch and ecosystems, and management systems, and that's on a simple low, medium, high basis. The assessments are conducted by an independent third party using publicly available information. The framework itself we developed together between Open Seas and FRDC and can be used for any wild catch fisheries in both Australia and New Zealand. Within New Zealand, we've presented the results of the risk assessments within our wider Open Seas framework. Here in Australia, FRDC will be presenting the results within a program called Which Fish, And both sites use exactly the same methodology and reporting structure, and they're both ultimately targeted, again, at that business-to-business dialogue in order to provide seafood businesses the opportunity to use the information for internal procurement. I did want to mention, though, that FRDC's work here in Australia will be discussed more by Savali-san tomorrow afternoon. And I think Savali and I have worked very closely on these projects for a very long time, and the partnership between Open Seas and FRDC is really critical in ensuring that users in both countries, as well as people sourcing seafood from both countries, have access to the evidence-based environmental risk assessments that are consistent and credible and ultimately freely available to cover a whole wide variety of source fisheries. Within Open Seas, we currently profile 20 species, and the aim is to expand that over time, but that's going to be responsive to any market needs to do so. There are two primary ways for using information on Open Seas, and the first I've alluded to already, which is for buyers to use it for in-house sourcing and purchasing of seafood. And they can directly use the information to inform any analysis or purchasing decision-making processes. We don't make any recommendations on whether a fishery is good or bad or risky or responsible. That's up to individual businesses. We've simply packaged up the information in order for them to do so. Because the site is fully open and free to anyone, it can be used as a tool for consumers who are also looking for increased transparency and honest information about what they buy and eat. But secondly, New Zealand seafood businesses are able to use the program and the supporting collateral to enhance their own brands and products, showing the breadth and depth of the story behind New Zealand seafood. And all of this is from one easy-to-use free site. Open Seas is designed to be shared and to be used with links, fact sheets, reports, and references throughout the site. We've had professionally designed formatting of all of the summary documents, which makes it easy to download, share soft copies, and print hard copies. Each of the sections contain downloadable fact sheets with a very condensed explanation of each of the topics. There's also explanatory infographics throughout the site that can be used to support other business materials. Each species has a downloadable fact sheet, and the front cover covers fishery-level details. The back page goes into more of an overview about New Zealand's production systems, and businesses can then choose to use a brief summary or to use both sides as more comprehensive presentation of the industry. We do hear a lot about the fox guarding the henhouse in our industry, and yes, Open Seas is owned and funded and maintained by the industry, and we don't hide from that. It's therefore critically important that Open Seas can be confident, or that the users of Open Seas can be confident that the information accurately reflects the performance of our industry. So sitting behind the site is a full suite of reports, supplementary documentation such as the standards, certificates, and guidance, legislation, and digital references. And all the information on the site is traceable back to the source document. Thanks. These are some of the images of what you can find behind the site: statistics, maps, legislation, technical reports, etc. But I did also want to note that Open Seas is currently going through ISO 9001 certification. And so achieving third-party certification of our quality management system, which is about how we generate and maintain the information on the site, is a reflection of the program's commitment to meeting the needs of our businesses, while also ensuring that the transparency and accuracy are not compromised. And that commitment extends into the future. Open Seas is designed to grow and expand. Upon launch, we've really focused on building a solid foundation and understanding of the systems and requirements behind the seafood industry. Over time, we'll continue to add details, data, reports, and references, and we can add depth and breadth to the program very easily. We ultimately want the program, though, to continue to be driven by the queries and needs of the business users. Open Seas also becomes a central repository of validated information for our industry. So it's a one-stop shop for us as an industry as well as for customers. In future, we can also take that model further and build in demonstration of industry performance, and whether that's third-party certification or tracking KPIs for the industry commitments. The framework is all sitting there ready to go. And I did also want to reinforce that Open Seas is not a promotion mechanism for the industry. There's no sales or marketing function associated with the program. It's simply there to provide the information people need to do business. So get on the site, check it out, see where it can support your business or support other businesses from sourcing New Zealand seafood. Encourage your teams and colleagues to do the same. And if there's ever anything that you can't find or want more information on, please do contact us. That's going to help us continue to drive improvement and growth of the program. As Tim alluded to, building trust and credibility in seafood can be a really complex task. And for New Zealand, this transparency initiative is simply one step in a very long journey. I do believe that the more that we do work together globally, the faster we can address both the issues and opportunities we face. So thank you again for inviting me to share what we are doing in New Zealand, and I look forward to continuing the partnership that we have with Australia and FRDC long into the future. Thanks.